In 1792, William Carey, an English shoemaker who had been raised in the Church of England, but who by then had become pastor of a little Baptist church, published his groundbreaking missionary manifesto, to which we credit the advent of the modern missionary movement. The title of that pamphlet was An Inquiry into the Obligations of Christians to Use Means for the Conversion of the Heathens. Though Carey's ideas were strongly opposed, he ultimately prevailed, and before the end of that year, he had founded what later came to be known as the Baptist Missionary Society, beginning a work in India. In 1800, he joined the team in India and lived there until his death in 1834. When Carey first published his inquiry, the notion that Christians should use extraordinary means or particular means to share the gospel of Jesus with a heathen of other lands was not only novel, it was controversial. But I want to assure you that it was a thoroughly biblical notion. Now that was reinforced for me powerfully several weeks ago when I was reading in 2 Samuel. You may recall that 2 Samuel chapters 13 and 14 tell the tragic story of one of the sons of King David, Amnon, who first raped and then rejected his half-sister Tamar, and subsequent to that was killed in revenge by her brother and his half-brother Absalom. After that, Absalom fled for his life and for some time was alienated from his father the king and the rest of the royal family. Sometime after that, David's general Joab sent a woman to speak with King David under the ruse of telling a story regarding her own family. Upon hearing her story, when David responded that her son, who had killed his brother, should not himself be put to death, lest their family be left without a male heir, she told him in so many words that her story wasn't really about her or her family, but that it was about David and Absalom. Listen to what she said, beginning with verse 13 of 2 Samuel 14. The woman said, "Why then have you devised a thing like this against the people of God? When the king says this, does he not convict himself? For the king has not brought back his banished son. Like water spilled on the ground, which cannot be recovered, so we must die." Listen to this. "But God does not take away life. Instead, He devises ways so that a banished person may not remain estranged from Him." I like how the contemporary English version translates that sentence. But God doesn't take our lives. Instead, He figures out ways of bringing us back when we run away. Don't you like that? Or listen to how the New King James Version puts it. "Yet God does not take away a life, but He devises means so that His banished ones are not expelled from Him." Why did William Carey propose that followers of Jesus should devise and use means to bring Christ to those who had never heard of Him? Precisely because God is a God who devises means to bring people back to Himself. One of Carey's now famous maxims was, "Attempt great things for God, expect great things from God." My friends, I pray that today you are attempting great things for God, and that as a result you are expecting great things from Him. After all, ours is the God who went to extraordinary lengths to bring us back when we ran away, ultimately sending Jesus to the cross on our behalf. Today, as never before, we ought to be using whatever means are at our disposal to finish the task of making Jesus known to those around the world who have yet to hear His name.